Hello, Sun Devil Learning Lab. Welcome back to another great day of learning with us here at the Sun Devil Learning Lab. I'm so excited to see so many familiar faces from during the school year back with us, and I'm also very excited to welcome our new friends who are joining us at the Sun Devil Learning Lab for the first time. Hello, how are you guys? I'm so excited that you guys are here with us, ready to learn. For those of you who do not know me, maybe new to the channel, or you do not remember me, my name is Miss Wendy. I teach third grade ELA alongside Miss Martinez. We both worked at the Sun Devil Learning Lab last year during the school year, and we're both very grateful to be able to continue to be given this opportunity to learn with you guys. We really both have a passion for learning, and we're very excited to be working with excited students like you who are looking forward to continuing their education through the summertime. I know that it's a lot. You want to be out there playing with your friends, but we really appreciate it that you are out here continuing your education with us. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. So that being said, we are going to go ahead and get into our lesson today, which is on point of view. Now, I know for quite a few of us, point of view is going to be a review from second grade, which is totally fine. We're going to review a little bit about what point of view is, but for the most part in third grade, we go into point of view a little bit deeper, which I'm going to explain to you guys in a bit. So our goal for the day, or our I can statement, is I can distinguish or tell apart between the point of view of a character and the narrator. I'm going to go into that in a little bit more detail in a second. Let's just look over our schedule real quick for the day. First, we are going to do a quick review on what is point of view. Then we are going to talk about how to distinguish point of view. And then we are going to have a quick read aloud. We have two pretty short stories that I'm really excited to read to you guys. And then we are going to have an exit ticket. Sounds pretty good to me. How does it sound to you guys? Pretty good? Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. All right, so first let's do a quick review. And that is, what is point of view? So for those of you who may remember this from second grade, point of view is the view of the person who is telling the story. And we're seeing the story through their eyes. So the example I wrote down there is the Ginny B. Jones series. I'm not sure how many of you have read that. It was one of my favorite series as a kid. That is a first person point of view. She writes as herself. She uses I, me, we. So we know that Ginny B. Jones is the one who's talking. We also know that with Harry Potter, that is a third person point of view because it uses the name Harry Potter, but we are aware of his inner thoughts and actions. Books such as If You Give a Moose a Muffin are a great example of second person point of view, which we are going to go into in a little bit. But on top of this, and this may have been something you touched on in second grade, may not have, point of view is also how or what the narrator, author, or character feels about a certain topic. So, as we discussed earlier, there are three types of point of view. There is first person that uses I, me, we. This could be anything from, Ginny B. Jones. This could be Diary of a Wimpy Kid. This could be Green Eggs and Ham, I do not like them, Sam I am. Those are all examples of first person points of view in children's books. And then we move on to second person point of view, which uses the phrases you and you all. So like I said, a prime example of this is If You Give a Moose a Muffin. They are all hypothetical. They are talking about you as if you are in the story along with us. If your teachers in your classrooms have any sort of inspirational posters that say like, you are the future, you can do anything you set your mind to. Those are also examples of second person point of view, even in a poster. I know that sounds crazy. And then the third type of point of view is called, no surprise, third person point of view. And this uses words like he, she, they. So in certain occasions, like in Harry Potter, we know the main character's thoughts, the main character's feelings, because he or she is the main character. Now, there are some books where we may not know everyone's point of view, and there are some books where we know everyone's point of view. So there are two types of third person. There's third person limited, where we only know the main character's thoughts and actions. And then there is third person omniscient. I apologize if I said that wrong. I often say that word wrong, which means that we know the thoughts and private thoughts of all of the characters in the story. All right, so before we move into how to distinguish point of view, we're going to do a little bit of practice just of the 3 types of point of view. All right, so this first one we have here. What point of view is this? Shelley drove down the road on the way to pick up Jimmy. She wondered why he didn't return her calls last night. So if you guys want to, feel free to pause the video, think about this a little bit. What keywords are we looking for? Do we see an I? No, I don't see an I. Do we see a U? I don't see a U anywhere. But do we see she, he, or they? Yeah, I see a few right here. I see a she wondered why he didn't return her calls last night. Great job, guys. So we know it's third person. And who's the main character? Whose thoughts? Give you guys a hint here. Whose thoughts are we seeing? Yeah, we're seeing Shelley's right here. So we know that Shelley is the main character, and this is a third person point of view. Great job, guys. You crushed it. All right, next one. You are such an important person. You are a great student, and you can do anything you set your mind to. Now, not only is that true, you guys are all amazing students and even more amazing people. We're very proud of you. But who can tell me what point of view that is? Feel free to pause the video if you need to. Think about this. 3, 2, 1. Great job, guys. Like we talked about, that is second person point of view. Second person point of view uses you or you all as the narrator. Okay. What point of view is this? So this one says, Nick and Jess went to a birthday party last night. They bought their friend a pretzel maker as a present. Yum, what a good present. Later, they jumped on their friend's trampoline. Let's look for those keywords. Do we see an I? No, I don't see an I anywhere. How about a U? No, I don't see that anywhere. What about he, she, or they? Oh, wait, there's they right there. And we're also pointing out names of the 2 main characters, so that makes this a what? Yeah, a third person point of view. Great job, guys. You guys are crushing it. All right, point of view. Or what point of view is this? This says, on Friday, I am flying to Texas to see my best friend. We haven't seen each other in over 6 months, and I'm sure it will be a great time. Think about this. Think about the keywords. Everyone on 3, tell me what it is. 1, 2, 3. First person point of view. Great job, guys. That was awesome. Okay, now this one I specifically wrote to trick you guys. So let's see if you guys are catching on. Why did you not call me? I asked. You really hurt my feelings. I couldn't believe my friend could forget to call me on my birthday. He was so forgetful. So what do you guys notice about that one? Well, I see a U right here. But you know what? I also see an I. But you know what? I also see a he. What in the world? What kind of point of view is this? Well, in this case, we would look at who the narrator was in this. So, does this say you asked? No. Does it say he asked? No. What does it say? Oh, it says I asked. So if I'm asking the question, I'm telling the story through my eyes, that would make this a what? First person point of view. Woohoo! Great job, guys. Give your guys a pat on the back, kiss your brain. We are so smart. We just figured that out and we just completed step number 1 of this PowerPoint. So great job, guys. Okay, so now we are going to dive in a little deeper and talk about how to distinguish point of view. Distinguish means kind of tell them apart, separate them. And for a distinguishing point of view, what we are going to do is we are going to think about the million-dollar question of distinguishing point of view is, how do the characters feel about each other or a certain situation? So for example, let's talk about the three little pigs right here. We all know the question, how do the pigs see the wolf? Do they see him as this nice guy, this guy who just wants to get on with his day and a guy who will cause no harm? No, doesn't sound like it. They literally call him the big bad wolf for a reason. The pigs think of him as this big bad wolf who is only there to help, or not help, who is only there to harm them and eat them. But then if we flip the switch and we think, how does the wolf see the pigs? Does he see them as friends? Does he call up the pigs on the weekend and say, hey, what are you doing? No, I don't think so. Does he think of them as food as opposed to actual animals? That sounds a little bit more like it. Yeah, he spends the entire length of the story just trying to blow into their house so that he can eat them. So in that way, we can see it's the same story, but if it's told through two different points of view, we end up with different points of view and sometimes different stories. So what we are going to do is we are going to do a read aloud of two stories. Both of them are centered around the fairy tale of Cinderella, which I hope you guys are familiar with. It's one of my favorite princess books, princess stories. So what we are going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quick. I unfortunately do not have the picture book version of Cinderella, so what I'm going to do is I just have text in front of me. I'm going to read it to you guys, and we are going to stop and think about, our goal for the day is we are going to think about the difference in how Cinderella describes her stepmom and how the stepmom describes Cinderella. Because this first story I'm going to tell you is told through Cinderella's point of view. So we're going to stop and we're going to think, okay, this first story is told through Cinderella. Cinderella is the main character. So what we're going to do is we are going to look for, what kind of point of view is it? Does it use I, me, we? Does it use you? Does it use he, she, they, or names? So we're going to look at what kind of point of view we are looking for. And then on top of that, we are going to look for how the characters in the story describe each other. And you guys will be quite shocked to find out that they are very, very different accounts. So with that, let's get started. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful girl named Cinderella. She lived with her wicked stepmother and two stepsisters. So let's stop and think about that. Already, how have they described the stepmother? Yeah, they called her a wicked stepmother. Does that seem very nice? No, when people are wicked, I tend to don't think that they're super nice. I tend to think that they're, witchy. They might be a little bit evil. So that might clue us in on how Cinderella feels about her stepmother. So let's keep going. They treated Cinderella very badly. One day, they were invited for a grand ball in the king's palace, but Cinderella's stepmother would not let her go. Cinderella was made to sew new party gowns for her stepmother and stepsisters and curl their hair. They then went to the ball, leaving Cinderella alone at home. Cinderella felt very sad and began to cry. Suddenly, a fairy godmother appeared and said, "Don't cry, Cinderella. I will send you to the ball." But Cinderella was sad. She said, "I don't have a gown to wear for the ball." The fairy godmother waved her magic wand and changed Cinderella's old clothes into a beautiful new gown. The fairy godmother then touched Cinderella's feet with the magic wand. And lo, she had beautiful glass slippers. "How will I go to the grand ball?" asked Cinderella. The fairy godmother found 6 mice playing near a pumpkin in the kitchen. She touched them with her magic wand, and the mice became 4 shiny black horses and 2 coachmen, and the pumpkin turned into a golden coach. Cinderella was overjoyed and set off for the ball in the coach drawn by 6 black horses. Before leaving, the fairy godmother said, "Cinderella, The magic will only last until midnight. You must reach home by then." When Cinderella entered the palace, everybody was struck by her beauty. Nobody, not even Cinderella's stepmother or stepsisters, knew who she really was in her pretty clothes and shoes. The handsome prince also saw her and fell in love with Cinderella. He went to her and asked, "Do you want to dance?" And Cinderella said yes. The princess danced with her The prince danced with her all night, and no one recognized the beautiful dancer. Cinderella was so happy dancing with the prince that she almost forgot what the fairy godmother had said. At the last moment, Cinderella remembered her fairy godmother's words, and she rushed to get home. "Oh, I must go," she cried, and ran out of the palace. One of her glass slippers came off, but Cinderella did not turn back for it. She reached home just as the clock struck 12. Her coach turned back into a pumpkin, the horse into mice, and her fine ball gown into rags. Her stepmother and stepsisters reached home shortly after that. They were talking about the beautiful lady who had been dancing with the prince. The prince had fallen in love with Cinderella and wanted to find out who the beautiful girl was, but he did not even know her name. He found the glass slipper that had come off Cinderella's foot as she ran home. The prince said, "I will find her. The lady whose foot fits this slipper will be the one I marry." The next day, the prince and his servants took the glass slipper and went to all the houses in the kingdom. They wanted to find the lady whose feet would fit in the slipper. All the women in the kingdom tried on the slipper, but would not fit any of them. Cinderella's stepsisters also tried on the little glass slipper. They tried to squeeze their feet and push hard into the slipper, but the servant was afraid the slipper would break. Cinderella's stepmother would not let her try the slipper on, but the prince saw her and said, "Let her also try on the slipper." The slipper fit her perfectly. The prince recognized her from the ball. He married Cinderella, and together they lived happily ever after. Great job, guys. Okay, let's stop and think. Feel free to pause the video if you guys want to. What does that story? So we know that story is through whose point of view? Good job. So it's through Cinderella's point of view. So how is the stepmother described? Let's go back and think. I definitely heard wicked. I heard she treated Cinderella badly. I heard that she didn't allow Cinderella to go to the ball, which was that very nice of her? Not at all. So ultimately, it sounds like Cinderella described her stepmother very poorly. Like her stepmother is not a good person. So the next story we are going to read is a retelling of Cinderella, but this time it is through the stepmother's perspective. So let's just brainstorm really quick. If we're thinking about this, Cinderella said her stepmom wasn't very nice. Now I'm about to read a story through the eyes of Cinderella's stepmom. So do I think she's going to describe Cinderella very well? I would guess not, but let's keep reading and find out. This book we are going to read here is called, So this one is a book called Seriously, Cinderella is So Annoying. The story of Cinderella as told by the wicked stepmom. It's by Trisha Shashkin. You must have heard of me, the wicked stepmother. That's not true. It's just another one of Cinderella's wild stories. Not as wild as the one about the pumpkins or about the fairy godmother. The real story, the true story, begins with some chatter and some dust. All I ever wanted was a husband and a mansion. Before I married Cindy's father, my two darlings and I had met Cindy only a few times. The girl had seemed normal then. After I married Cindy's father, my darlings and I moved in. When I had just one foot on the front step, my dear husband kissed me goodbye and said, "I'm off on business." "He's often away," Cindy said, "but the animals stay put. They talk, they joke, they laugh, they sing. They even help out, especially the bluebirds." Now, I don't mind a good story, but I do prefer facts to fiction. Soon the girl was talking about all kinds of nonsense. "Once upon a time," Cindy said, "one of the bluebirds became blue. Not the color, the feeling. His friends had flown south. My darlings and I were stuck near the front door. I just wanted to put away my bags. That's when I saw it. Dust. Dear, is the whole house this dusty? I asked. I don't know, Cindy said. I'll give you a tour. In the dining room, Cindy told stories. In the study, Cindy told stories. Non-stop. Girls, I said, time to get to work. This place needs a good cleaning. Once upon a time when I was cleaning, Cindy started. Oh dear. Cindy mopped the floors. She finished so fast, my darlings had barely started. Did you know robins and sparrows are my friend? She said. The sparrows don't like the robins, though. Silly creatures. Once upon a time, one of the robins. Cindy, dear, I said, why don't you go and wash the clothing now? Cindy washed them so fast. How on earth did she do it? I had to find another chore for her just to keep her busy. If there's one thing squirrels love, it's washing clothes, Cindy said. The rats, though, would rather iron. You know, one day Squirrels and rats doing laundry? Stop telling such foolish stories, I finally said. Time passed, but nothing changed. In the garden, Cindy told stories. In the kitchen, Cindy told stories. At dinner, I could hear myself think. I couldn't hear myself think. Dear, please, I said, stop talking. Cindy didn't stop. One day, a letter arrived. It was an invitation to the king's ball. The prince would surely fall in love with one of my darlings. Then they would marry, live in a beautiful castle, and one day be king and queen of all the land. Oh, stepmother, I want to go too, said Cindy. Once upon a time, a girl and a prince. Then, just like that, Cindy lost her voice. Imagine, it had to be from all that storytelling. Well, what could I do? I told Cindy she had to stay at home for her health. She cried, of course. Still, a ball was no place for a poorly girl. She needed help. Sometimes it is so hard being a stepmother. At the ball, my darlings twirled. They whirled. Then a strange girl waltzed in. Her gown was magnificent. I couldn't take my eyes off it. I wondered how much it had cost and if my seamstress could copy it for me. The prince and the girl danced and pranced. My poor darlings were left princeless. A few days later, the prince made an announcement. A glass slipper had been left at the castle. The prince would marry the girl whose foot it fitted. Our big chance! After visiting every other mansion in the city, the prince's footman arrived at our door. Me, said one of my darlings. No, me, said the other. One at a time, said the footman. Each girl tried, but the shoe didn't fit. Then Cindy croaked out a whisper. Please let me try. Sorry, it is cut off right here. The shoe fit Cindy. The shoe fit. Cindy pulled the other glass shoe from her apron pocket. What? My darlings cried. Cindy croaked again. She said something about a pumpkin coach and mice that turned into horses. She even added a fairy godmother. Please, there is no such thing. I must say, though, I still don't know where she got those shoes. A few days later, the prince married Cindy. Poor man. He had no idea what he was getting himself into. We, on the other hand, lived happily ever after. All right, guys, so let's think about this real quick. What is the main how was Cinderella described in Seriously, Cinderella is so annoying, as opposed to how was she described in Cinderella? Let's stop and think. I'm gonna let you guys pause the video right here. Think to yourself, how are their points of views different? Well, what's the main point of view? One story is told by Cinderella, or a narrator who knows about Cinderella, and the other is told by the wicked stepmother. Great job, guys. So, think about this. in the original Cinderella, the stepmother is described as this wicked, evil person who doesn't want anything fun to happen to Cinderella. But how is she described in Seriously Cinderella as so annoying? So she's the main character, so she makes herself out to look pretty well, right? I'd say so, yeah. And then Cinderella, on the other hand, in Seriously Cinderella is so annoying, is perceived as annoying, yeah. Was she perceived as annoying in the original story? Not so much, no. So by distinguishing by those 2 points of view, we have Cinderella and we have the stepmom. We see the same story, but just through 2 different sets of eyes. So we're going to continue to work on distinguishing point of view this week. This is going to be our main focus of the week, and we are going to move on to our exit ticket now. So for you folks at home, feel free to feel free to stop the screen, take a screenshot of this and print this out. Or if you guys have any sort of whiteboard material, you can write it down on there, or if you want to type it on the screen, that's totally all right. I'm going to be displaying the exit ticket here shortly. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay mindful, stay creative, and I will see you guys on the next installment of Sunday Learning Lab. Bye, guys.